Hello everybody, I am the Chief of Wrestling, Craig Anderson, and you're listening to Dirt Sheet Mania, Episode 7! Hello everybody, and I am not the voice anymore. I am the Chief of Wrestling, Craig Anderson, and I am alongside the Director of Creativity. He creates so you can procrastinate, Kieran Smith. Hi, Kieran.
You needed a better nickname. Definitely needed one. You come with a few weird and creepy ones.
So I came up. Okay, I'll tell everyone I came up with either the teacher,
very creepy,
because of my day job, or the researcher.
Yeah, even more creepier.
But we both love Scrubs. It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
We're watching it religiously, and we wanted to make it more more Scrubsy type thing. Your one's great, the Director of Creativity. You've had it when we first started in like 2016, 14,
15.
Bloody a long time ago. And 14. It was 14. You're right. And when Jamie joins us occasionally for like some pay-per-views, or he's actually going to be the quiz master, isn't he?
That's even worse nickname.
No, but we're going to call him the intern.
Yeah, we're going to call him the intern.
The intern, Jamie Smith. So if you like Scrubs, pop over to Amazon and
Susan.
Give them a watch. Thank you, Jessica. Guys, we're going to be talking about Fastlane, Smackdown, Monday Night Raw, and in our bridge segment, a couple of interesting tidbits. Apparently, AAA from Mexico want to buy Impact Wrestling. Not the first time we've heard somebody wanting to buy Impact, as well as CM Punk's return to the Octagon. I know it's not wrestling related, but it's topical, and we all want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about that in the bridge between Raw and Smackdown. We're changing the order today. Normally we go in sort of day order, Raw then Smackdown, or pay-per-view, Raw, Smackdown. Because this was a Smackdown pay-per-view Fastlane, we're going to talk about Fastlane and then straight into Tuesday Smackdown and then Raw. Now we've got two different brands. We don't need to technically stay in order.
I think that just makes a lot more sense, rather than jumping around from Raw to Smackdown to Raw to just it's too confusing otherwise. No,
absolutely. And we'll start with Fastlane. Predictions wise, you beat me.
I beat you.
3-2?
So you may say controversially, but I don't think so. And we did get Jamie to adjudicate. We got Jamie we put a tweet up asking what we thought people thought.
We put a poll up. A legitimate poll that people actually helped us with. So if you did join in with that tweet, thank you very much. Well, actually not thank you, because Kieran got a point which won the pay-per-view. Yeah. So you're 2-1 up on pay-per-views, but it's 15-all.
It's 15-all.
I believe.
Yeah. It's 15 or 16. We'll get back. We'll double check these things, but we're definitely drawing now. And it is 15-all. Yeah, 15-all. So Fastlane was 3-4 to you, not 4-2, 3-2, 4-2. The results. If only the Man United game ended up like that last night.
Well, Arsenal beat Milan, so and we won at the weekend as well. So that was a fluke. Carmella and Natalie versus Naomi and Becky. We both thought Naomi and Becky would win, because anyone that's any version of Money in the Bank gets beat. But not only did she win, then win the match, she got the pinfall.
And she also got the pinfall on SmackDown as well, Tuesday. I know it was
against Naomi.
Yeah, I don't know, it's fast forwarding a bit, but her last two showings have been quite good.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to build her up for maybe a possible WrestleMania cash-in or something. So
on the surface, it looks like they want to have her as a player, but now we know it's Asuka Charlotte. I mean, no, again, which foreshadowing we'll get to. Good luck with Carmella making a legitimate threat in that match. Nakamura versus Rusev. There was only ever going to be one winner here, but it was a good showing from Rusev.
It was a good little match. It was really enjoyable.
They've considering the Nakamura, you thought would be better placed against John Cena.
Yeah.
But we said last week and in the preview show for Fastlane, I'm glad it was against somebody that's not in the main event picture, because it gets somebody else on the show.
Yeah.
And no, I was really happy for Rusev. And like I say, I thought it was
Aiden English's little rap at the beginning of the match as well. It's quite funny.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
He's still technically playing heel, but everyone's still cheering it. So
it's the third best selling T-shirt. So that leading from that one, that was 1-1. These aren't necessarily in order, by the way. This is just the order we remember them in. Randy and Bobby. Now, last week on the show, we both said Bobby.
Yep.
And you changed your mind.
I changed my mind last second.
So
that's ultimately what made me win.
Okay, so off air, before the show, and I know he did it, and Jamie said he did it, so fine. You changed your mind for Randy Orton. But you didn't just change it to Randy Orton. You said Bobby would win, but Randy would win by disqualification, which because of Jinder, and Bobby would keep the belt.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Randy Orton won the title.
Clean. With an RKO.
With an RKO.
And I wasn't happy.
And you wasn't happy because, and what I thought was that Randy Orton won. He didn't. I only said by disqualification. Doesn't mean how he won. He could have won by any other way, double, count out or anything like that.
No.
But so
at one stage, I was more than happy to give you half a point, and then I got cross again and said no, and then you ended up with the whole point.
Yeah.
So I should have just shut my mouth.
But
you would still beat me, so I don't think it really makes any difference. Yeah, you got your point there.
I did.
And we did give it to the vote, and we tried to get the intern involved, but he was useless.
Well,
so
he said that I deserved the point.
He's your brother!
And what's wrong with that?
Stupid newbie. Right, we move on. Charlotte, Ruby. Charlotte won, but again,
great match.
A good match.
Yeah,
I mean, Ruby, we've spoken about before, Ruby Wright isn't just this female that's been through NXT as a strong baby face and now come up on the main roster. Because a lot of people will just see that because they're not necessarily aware of the independent scene in America or the United Kingdom or throughout Europe. And she's been an excellent talent throughout the years, and she, again, fantastic showing.
And that talent will only rub off on Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan as well.
Yeah.
That I think that's obviously why she's got two lesser NXT rookies called up with her.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think we were more surprised at Liv Morgan coming up. Yes, man. Yes, on Sarah Logan as well. But at least Sarah Logan, she was in the tournament.
And the thing is with Sarah Logan as well, I'd say she's not quite, but she's not as big as Nia Jax, but she's still quite sort of big and physical. So it's a bit different, and she can rely on that, just throwing punches, kicks.
She's the girlfriend of Raymond Rowe, who is in the War Machine, who we've not seen on NXT yet. But I
think that'll be after WrestleMania.
I think once the Authors of Pain
probably get called up.
One in, one out.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah.
Because you got the depth there. That PC.
Although in the future you wouldn't mind seeing them go at it for the tag titles.
Bloody hell, could you imagine that? As JR would say, put the women and children to bed, folks. This is not
stick the cruiserweight tag team champs in the middle of the two of them.
Oh my god, whoever those poor souls might be one day. Usos versus the New Day. We both said the Usos would retain their titles. Now, well, we were right. We were.
Yeah.
But not in how we thought. Because the Bludgeon Brothers ended up coming out mid-match and not only annihilated the people in the match, but also Big E, who was accompanying New Day. It was annihilation, wasn't it, Kieran?
Yeah, total annihilation. It was very brutal, and
believable.
What it needed to be, yeah, believable, definitely believable.
Tell them what happened to poor Woods.
So Xavier Woods got powerbombed,
double spine buster.
So he basically got put on top of some steel steps very hard,
quite firmly.
Yes, and his neck sort of whipped back as well, which is hard to see.
Yeah, people can sit at home all day long and they can sort of say, "Oh, wrestling's fake." It's all this, that, and the other. Yeah, they learn how to fall. Yeah, of course they do. But that didn't look pretty. It just didn't look pretty.
No,
his neck whipping back off the steps.
Yeah.
But gimmick-wise, we know he's been written off for a while. But we'll get to SmackDown in a little while. But nonetheless, the Bludgeon Brothers, I can't see anything but them being involved in the SmackDown Tag Team title match at WrestleMania. Whether that's going to be a triple threat with the New Day and the Usos, which I think it might be.
You'd assume it'd be a triple threat. The only other team that I can see them possibly moving into the match is Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable, but I wouldn't want them to add it to this point. I think
they've been screwed a lot. From the belts.
Yeah, I think leave it as a triple threat. There's a reason. There's a story behind it being a triple threat.
Yeah, don't sure.
You add another team in a sidecar. They're just being thrown in.
But would it surprise you if they did put another team in?
No, of course they won't. They want to try and get everyone on the card. So.
And okay, so that was it. So we go into the main event. Let me think. So we both got 1, 2, 3. So basically, I was one behind going into the main event. Now, the only way I was going to get this back is if AJ pinned John Cena. I think I said, and you said Sami Zayn. So he pinned Kevin Owens.
Typically, yeah.
Probably the only other one that I would have probably have picked. Yeah. Corbin and Ziggler, I don't really know where they go because I don't think either were on SmackDown either this past week.
No, they wasn't.
So
no.
from going in the title match 2 days before and then not being on the show at all.
That's the problem with SmackDown, is that because it's only 2 hours, and obviously, quick shout out to daylight savings time.
Oh my god!
SmackDown 12 till 2 done me the world of good. Still fell asleep
can
halfway through.
Can we just give a big shout out to daylight savings time for Fastlane?
Yeah.
Because I must admit, when it got to about 2:45, that was my first big yawn.
It's about the time we usually start
to flag.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to wait long for the show to finish.
No.
By 2:15, I was in bed, tucked up. I watched the Talking Smack afterwards. I watched it the next morning, and again, it was so needed. I mean, I know it's a pay-per-view, but can you imagine after SmackDown every week still? But AJ keep the title. We pinned Kevin Owens. You beat me 4-3.
4-3.
And then we obviously both said AJ to win, so we got a point each for that as well. So well done, Kieran. 15 all now. 2-1 to pay-per-views for you.
Yeah.
The
next one is the big one, the WrestleMania.
Massive one.
Which could end up being like a 16-all tiebreaker or something like that. Because there'll be tons of matches.
There's going to be tons of matches, and maybe I don't know if we'll have to add additional stipulations to each match. It could be 15-12.
Yeah.
It could be a massive one. Of course, we'll quickly drop it in now because we're talking about WrestleMania. The Mae Young Battle Royale.
The Fabulous Moolah.
Fabulous Moolah.
Yeah.
Battle Royale will be happening at WrestleMania along with the Andre the Giant. So
have they actually confirmed that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale is coming back? Because I haven't mentioned.
Do you reckon they won't? They just
well, it'd be a bit stupid if they didn't, because they've got an Andre the Giant documentary coming out in a month's time.
It's so relevant. So a battle for the men, a battle for the ladies.
But having 2 battle royals on this show's just going to be stupidly long.
My main concern for these battle royals is that they're obviously, goes without saying, they're both going to be on the pre-show. So if you remember rightly, what happened?
2 battle royals on the pre-show.
Do you remember was it last year? No. Who was the first match on the pre-show?
It was the Cruiserweight title.
The first one. Yeah. Aries versus Neville.
Yeah.
Who was the pre-show at SummerSlam? The first one, was it Miz and the Hardys?
And
how many people were there?
Yeah.
There must have been a couple of hundred.
This is the problem. What was the problem with WrestleMania? There's just too many people trying to fit on the.
My main concern is that with a 2-hour pre-show, so English time would be 10 till 12. My main concern is that 10 minutes, 10:15 in our time, which I think is 7:15. Yeah. US time PM, they're going to put the first match out, and there'll be nobody
WrestleMania,
there.
If you include the pre-show, will go from 10 PM
5
on April 8th till 5 AM April 9th.
You wanted your 2-day WrestleMania. You've already got it.
Yeah, I got my 2-day WrestleMania, but that's what it'll be. And that's the thing. It's hard to sit there and watch wrestling WWE for 4 hours.
Yeah, which is a standard pay-per-view.
Royal Rumble's fine, because usually the Royal Rumble's the big match.
Especially with 2 now, 2 Rumbles.
Yeah, exactly. But if you watch a 4-hour SummerSlam or a 4-hour Survivor Series,
it's heavy.
It's hard. It's hard to sit there and watch it all.
I missed it last year. I was still working the Indies over in this country. I was working a camp show in Butlins, I think, refereeing, and I got home, I want to say around 2 a.m.
Yeah, I think so.
3 a.m. Did I come round and say hello? And then go home, or did I just not come round?
I don't think you did. I think you were a bit peeved off.
I wasn't best amused. So yeah, I'm obviously I'm not doing that anymore. So I'll be able to watch all of WrestleMania with you. But yeah, that was Fastlane. You beat me. Fair enough. We're now going to talk about SmackDown, not about Monday Night Raw. That's going to come up next, as well as our bridge segment. So next up is SmackDown Live. So we're going to sort of change how we talk about Raw and SmackDown this week here, and instead of just kind of reeling off what happened segment by segment, we're going to talk about it in bulk stuff. So there's 5 little bulk bits for SmackDown this week. We're going to start with the title match, because I think, I'm a bit of a traditionalist. The title match should go on last. It sometimes doesn't. The only thing in my mind that does oversee title matches is the Undertaker.
Yeah,
and we may see him in.
Talking if this match go last, I don't think it will go last at WrestleMania. It should, because technically Shinsuke's the Royal Rumble winner.
So,
there's a potential. There's the Universal title match. I think they're talking about the Ronda Kurt match, the mixed tag being last.
I've heard
very controversial.
I wouldn't like that. No. It just looks like Triple H and Stephanie putting themselves in the main event. I don't think that would go down so well.
And if it's Cena versus Taker, which is very much likely, we'll talk about it. That'd be fair enough, especially if they were to say to make it a career versus career match.
Can you imagine if they did that?
Yeah, I'd love it.
We're really getting off topic as per usual.
As always.
So AJ Nakamura face off mainly quite early on in the night. How did you see this going down when you first, both of them in the ring?
I think what you'll see over the next 4 weeks, and I think it's the only way you can really do it, is that they obviously have respect for each other.
That word was used a lot.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what it's going to be. It's not going to be them beating each other down, like Austin Rock did back in the day. It's them just going to be in a variety of matches. One's going to be ringside. So next week you'll probably see Shinsuke versus Rusev again,
or English,
or English with AJ.
English wants his revenge for the throat thing still. So English might go for that.
And then the week after you probably see him in a tag team match. And then you got the last week where it'll probably just be the contract signing or something like that, and then that's it. WrestleMania. So I mean that's all it'll be. And say that's not bad, but. This match isn't about a storyline. This is just seeing out who's the best. This is for the title. Which one's better, AJ or Shinsuke? And that's how it should be, because this is what it is. It's a dream match.
So you're happy with the respect angle. Do you think one of them should be heel? Because I tell you what, when he was getting beaten up, AJ, part of me kind of wondered if they might tease him. Not necessarily tease him being complete heel, but he takes off his jacket. Nakamura, who was on commentary, I could almost see him getting up, walking round the ring, halfway up the ramp, thinking to himself, no, I'll do and then turning around and going back to make the save.
Corey Graves said it perfectly. So he did take his time, but why wouldn't you let your opponent get beaten down at WrestleMania? But he said obviously in the segment after, they said that he wants to face the best of AJ Styles.
Yeah. Which I mean, it is the face. They obviously want to keep them face, but it's a dream match. The match these two had in Japan was to excuse the pun, phenomenal.
The thing is though, like even. It'll stay face-face, and the reason why it'll stay face-face is because they both have very babyface styles. AJ flies around the ring. I'd probably say in terms of style, Shinsuke's probably got the more heel-like stuff with the kicks and the knees and things like that.
The good vibrations days, could easily be a heel tendency, choking thing.
So if I could see anyone being a heel in this match, so to speak, I'll probably see more AJ, because he's the one that has to keep hold of his title.
Yeah, yes, do anything he can,
If the match goes that way, he'll probably lean more against on the heel side. But
despite Nakamura having the heel style, if you may. Not that it is, but you could be it could easily be transferred into a heel style. No, interesting. AJ, WWE's YouTube page is very misleading, because the title of this next video that I came across today was AJ thanks Nakamura. Now, if you've seen Smackdown, you'll very well know that AJ never once thanked Nakamura for anything. He basically said to him, I'll do this on my own. But then, like you said, Nakamura wants...
It's clickbait.
I clicked on it. I thought, wait a minute, I saw Smackdown. I don't remember this. And then, had I fallen asleep? What happened? No, it was clickbait. So, reeled in. Thanks, WWE. Reeled in. So, Nakamura AJ, it won't be last, but it has the absolute potential to go match of the night.
Yeah, I can see this being about 5th or 6th match on the night.
First.
If they went first, it's very The other, they went with Shane and AJ first last year, didn't they, at WrestleMania? So, which was a surprise. It was like, why are they doing that? And it's a surprisingly good match
with a ref bump. Which, as you will ask me, ref bumps in the first match are a big no. But Mike Yo didn't ref again that night, so and he's Shane's ref. So, sort of next big sort of storyline on SmackDown. If you want to sort of rate them and rate them, we're going to rate them better than the SmackDown top 10, because that is a bunch of garbage.
It just seems to be a thing for just one feud, nothing else.
The Randy Orton feud, and even he buried it. Cheers for that. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shane McMahon, and maybe to a lesser extent currently Daniel Bryan. So at the Fastlane pay-per-view, both Sami and Kevin had the WWE Championship match won.
Yeah,
they had the match won. There's no question about that. Kevin first, then Sami on both occasions. In fact, Sami was pinning Kevin to win the WWE title. Shane McMahon pulled both of them out, and subsequently Kevin got pinned by Joe.
This is obviously after Sami did lay down for Kevin, and Kevin didn't trust him.
They've not really kind of... It's almost like they went down one passage and then decided that they weren't going to recognise it again, because Sami did lie down. And Kevin's the only one that touched on this on SmackDown from memory. Kevin went, instead of just covering him, and who knows what would have happened, he tried to pick him up and obviously try and finish him off so he could legitimately pin him.
Yeah.
no one talked about that on SmackDown. Kevin just said, he was never going to let me pin him. Well, he would have done, because he just picked him up.
Yeah, but Kevin couldn't trust Sammy, because obviously what Sammy did on the SmackDown the week before. So
only they waited a few days to do that at Fastlane instead of SmackDown. But we spoke about that last week, how we didn't think that was right. Backstage, Sammy blamed Kevin, and then Kevin blamed Shane.
Yeah.
In 2 prior backstage segments. So instead of just disagreeing with each other necessarily, that one has disagreed with the other, and then Kevin has then trying to deflect it on Shane. Well, it must have worked, because later on that night, Shane McMahon comes to the ring and he said he's got 2 announcements. Forgive me, I can't necessarily remember which order. I think the first thing he said he was going to do is, as of the end of SmackDown Live, he was stepping down.
Yeah.
And this was the last segment of the show, stepping down as SmackDown commissioner for almost like a sabbatical. It's not for good.
It's an indefinite.
He's not quit.
Yeah. It's an indefinite amount of leave, which, well, obviously, because of the match he announced as well after, which is Kevin versus Sammy at WrestleMania.
One on one.
Which, I mean, if you took the feud away, whether you think it will happen or not, but Kevin versus Sammy at WrestleMania are great for that feud that they've had for years upon years. But
they deserve it for the feud, for the history, from everything from Ring of Honor with El Generico, which is Sami Zayn's cousin, everything from Ring of Honor, everything through the Independents, everything in NXT, everything on the main roster. I mean, this is so many layers, and now it's almost got a new and different sort of evolution of feud for them both. And yes, it deserves a singles match at WrestleMania. After that, if it did go through with that, I kind of don't want to see them anywhere near each other for a few years, because I think you've done it. You've literally done as much as you can do.
Yeah,
but
I think they'll end up stretching anything between Kevin and Sammy for a while. They're always going to be in that world title bid show.
I have a feeling when we have this draft, I think Kev could go back to Raw.
Yeah.
I think Sammy will stay on SmackDown for a bit. I
think Sammy needs to stay on SmackDown.
But the match,
and they actually sort of talked about the
on Raw,
a potential shake-up on Raw as well. So it looks like it's going to happen soon.
I think Cesaro or Sheamus lit it. Whether it was on purpose or not, I don't really know. Yeah. But after Shane made those 2 announcements, Kevin and Sammy came out, and there's no two ways about it. They beat the crap out of him.
Yeah,
really. Chairs to the throat. Back, even went back. I think I've written here, I'm not 100% sure what it was, but I think they powerbombed him on some scaffolding backstage.
Yeah, was it on a box?
It looked horrid.
Yeah.
One bit I did like, and I shouldn't have liked it, was when they beat the refs up. When's the last time you saw someone beat a ref up? Like, really beat a ref up?
Yeah, I mean,
you don't see that anymore.
You don't see it,
which is shocking.
I think is that a PG thing? It probably is. Maybe like position of power, abuse, all that sort of stuff.
Like, you don't see the refs beat up in football or rugby, do you?
No,
so why should you see them beat up in wrestling?
At the end of the day, it's still men against men. It's not like it's like a man punching a woman or anything like that, is it? If it needs to happen, it needs to happen. It should happen in the right circumstances. Just like blood should happen in the right circumstances. Just to make it look.
What does blood equal?
Money.
Was that Eric Bischoff?
I don't know. No.
Someone made a book about blood equals money.
No, controversy creates cash.
No, that was it. Maybe that's his. Yeah, so money. Yeah. I have written down here. I noticed Shane McMahon after being powerbombed. It sounds like he is dying.
It was some god awful sound. I don't think it was much like that, mate.
I don't know what he was. Whether he was.
Stop making noises.
I don't know if he had abdominal pain or if he was squeezing out a log. It sounded horrible.
He's got a couple of weeks off to work out what it was.
He
might be having a baby in 3 weeks.
So we could little Shane baby.
No Shane baby.
Add it to the tribe.
Jumping off helicopters already.
Oh my god. So I don't think we'll see Sammy Kevin at Mania. Shane is 1 gazillion% involved. Brian is back next week, conveniently enough, as Shane also announced in the ring. What Brian will make, basically Brian's decision is what to do with this now. Brian could easily make, I don't care if Shane's on sabbatical, he could come out and say Shane's been medically cleared, I'm making Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Shane McMahon has to go and find a tag team partner. That could very well be a thing.
I think that's the only way it can go. But you sit there and you think, who could Shane have as a tag team partner? Who can he have as a tag team partner?
Maybe two people should help each other and be tag team partners for both of them. Maybe Braun Strowman and Shane should both be tag team partners for each other.
Maybe suddenly The Rock turns up at WrestleMania and becomes Shane McMahon's tag team partner.
I've seen crazy things, like Daniel Bryan wrestling again at WrestleMania.
I mean, Daniel Bryan's involved in this somehow, isn't he? And it's always been rumours. Is he ready? Is he passed his tests and everything like that? And obviously, we're still pretty sure that he hasn't been cleared to wrestle.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure.
Why have they involved him in a storyline this deep without getting him in a match? And that's the problem.
He got very close when he was that double referee, when he got sort of shoved, but he fell on them.
He fell.
But
then he wasn't a bump. No,
it's not a bump. No,
he just fell. But
we'll see how this progresses. I'm expecting different type of match for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We also saw Asuka for the very first time on SmackDown Live. She appeared at Fastlane after Charlotte won, which we did speculate that would happen. We got two of the speculations right, because we speculated she would show up and the Undertaker would show up. Taker didn't, and Asuka did. And I'm glad she did, because it would have meant more on the pay-per-view than the SmackDown, because more eyes.
And Asuka's appeared and seems to be appearing on both Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, she did wrestle on Raw. We'll talk about Raw shortly, but she did. She wrestled on Raw as well.
Again, more softening of the brand split. But you sort of understand, because she's challenging for the other brand's title. You can understand.
'Tis the season, Kieran. Do you think she'll wrestle on both shows if she wins against Charlotte? Or if she loses, do you think she'll go back to Raw?
I'd assume she does. In some
ways...
We've
never really talked about that.
You could almost assume, because there's no trade going on, if Asuka beats Charlotte, would Charlotte go to Raw?
As a swap?
Because Asuka can't obviously defend the SmackDown Women's title on a Raw, can she? Because it's a SmackDown title.
But if she won, then technically Raw would be a big player down. So surely Charlotte would have to go to Raw to even the numbers.
Unless they're thinking about calling up NXT people and
but then again,
a big name comes up.
I don't know if it's going to happen on the Raw and SmackDown after Mania or the week adjacent to WrestleMania. So that not that week, the week after. But rumoured that Backlash will be a draft show. We'll see. But, one thing I have got down here is Asuka's English is really getting there.
Yeah, obviously we've mocked it and everything like that, and we said that it isn't. Yeah, it isn't the best. But if you keep it short and sweet, like I've always said, it's fine. It's the same with Shinsuke. Short, sweet, to the point.
He's good. His English is really good. I've listened to him do a Jericho podcast.
But you don't have to go too far with it. And this Asuka's one was short and it was sweet, and she got her points across. I don't like the crowd chanting "what" when it comes to it, because that's just disrespectful.
And it's really off-putting.
And it probably that's what probably throws her off, because obviously she's sitting there and she's thinking in Japanese. That's how you do it, if you think in your first language,
your mother tongue,
and then you translate it in your head, and then you say it. And when you're saying what all the time, it's going to put you off. And but like I said, she got her points out. Charlotte said it was iron sharpening iron. She's facing the best, and Asuka's facing the queen.
Well, that's why she wanted to face her. I mean, again. It's the
which
way,
was revealed on Raw.
This is the way some of the things do end up fading into each other, which is why we talked about SmackDown first, because we would know it fade a little bit into Raw, as opposed to normally the other way around, with Cena last week fading into SmackDown. Hence why we did SmackDown first this week. Kieran's decision. He's the creativity. That's why he's doing it. We did see Asuka say that to Alexa Bliss on Monday Night Raw, and Alexa Bliss mocked her understanding of the language. So, do you remember Little Britain, where daft anybody daft? Do you remember her? And she used to mock the Indian woman because she was like, she'd go, "What's good for dieting?" And she'd go, "A banana." And she went, "Can't understand you, love." Do you ever see that?
No.
It's so rad. It's so terrible. But yeah, similar.
I'm actually really looking forward to this Charlotte Asuka match when they were standing in the ring together. It just when you have those moments. I said earlier, Rock versus Austin. When you see them two in the ring, you're just like,
mate. I couldn't agree more. I've written here, they look grand standing next. Charlotte with the almost like the
peacocky
the coat, the jacket, coat. The big SmackDown Women's title in her waist. Asuka with like the face paint on, the lines under her thing, her big coat, and she never stays still. She's moving around. She's moving with the words when she's even saying "or shut." And the face off as well is there was a bit of a grin on both their faces if they go.
I think they can't wait for this now. Like,
they can't wait as much as we can't wait.
This could be a sleeper match. Like, this could be one of the matches of the night. If this match, they should technically let this match go 20 minutes. It probably won't because of the amount of
other things
matches cut on the card. But
it's gonna be class.
This could be a a real good match.
This could at the end of the day, as much as they want to be the best match on the show, there's no question that they want to be the best women's match on the show.
Yeah.
If they can be the best women's match, then they have a good chance of being the best match on the show.
Yeah.
Super can't wait for. I'm looking forward to this match as much as you are.
It's getting to the point now after Fastlane where I've sat there. I'm like, do you know what? I'm actually getting excited to WrestleMania. Now it is literally WrestleMania in 4 weeks.
You tweeted out I think Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yeah, the card as of that point.
It looked decent.
A few more matches have been added since then.
It looked really decent.
So
really decent. Another match that we spoke about just at the end of the Fastlane thing was the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. Now on Smackdown, all you had was Big E and Jimmy Uso.
Yeah.
They were the only two. Big E first revealed himself to be fit enough to wrestle, and then Jimmy with a massively bandaged arm. And they said, "Look, we're going to dance again one day, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be brilliant. But until then, we need to do this for each other." And you know the Usos and the New Day, as much as they go at each other when they wrestle, you know. And there was a segment a few months back where they showed how much they respected each other, and I've never seen it as much since. And they teamed up and they faced the Bludgeon Brothers.
Let's do a bit of foreshadowing here.
Mm-hmm.
When Big E was doing his promo again, no laughing, no joking.
No, he was serious again.
How much of a world champion did he look to you?
Yeah, he looks decent, doesn't he?
To me, I sat down, I was like, when you do that, when you that good, and then that good on the mic, he got every word out perfectly, passion.
When he
got his point across.
When he brought in Jimmy as well, it was that look, and then he kind of looked away, and then he looked back at, I think, Dasha, who was doing the interview.
Yes, I think it was.
Renee.
It wasn't Renee. It was Dasha.
Renee was on SmackDown as well, I believe.
Yeah.
But he looked away as if to kind of be like, I've got to do this. I've got to do it for Woods. I've got to do it with Kofi. He said, I wish we could have this like quick skit, and you know, he said, I wish we could.
He even mentioned about putting pancake mix in Corey Grace's car. So that was probably the funny thing of that segment. But
he did it with a dead face. Yeah. He didn't did it with a grin. He didn't do it with a smile. He did it with a dead.
To me, when he was saying it, I was like, he just looks world champion. And we've talked about a potential New Day split up in the future, and who we think will end up being
a number one contendership, triple threat New Day.
Yeah,
between
Big E's in the last couple of weeks looks like he's just stepped up his game, and it's like he's trying to show people that he can do this. He can be the man. He can be the face of SmackDown or the face of Raw.
But when he then looked back at and he brought Jimmy back in, and Jimmy and Jay, fantastic promos, but it's weird seeing one of them.
Yeah,
really weird.
I liked it.
It's different.
Like, the storyline terms, it made great sense. You know, there is a respect between New Day and Usos, and to have them mix them up,
call each other Us. Yeah, they were with it. They were with it.
I don't want to say it's probably has happened before, but I haven't seen it in quite some time.
I can't. Two people from a team. Sleeping. Was it Sleeping Bedfellow, stuff like that? TNA have done pay-per-views based on it, like one night only pay-per-views where people end up doing this. But it's always in a way where maybe when Cena and Shawn Michaels did it and they won the World Tag Team titles back at 23, 24, like a week or two before WrestleMania. They did it then, but it's never really like, we sort of will do it. But these two wanted to do it.
Yeah, I just think in terms of
wanted to do this.
The last couple of weeks, SmackDown seems to have picked it up a little bit. They've gone, WrestleMania is coming around the corner when you start picking things up. I don't know if you saw that Renee Young live video that she'd done before SmackDown.
No.
She spoke to Road Dogg. She does like...
really?
Yeah.
On Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram. 15 minutes before the show, she was speaking to Road Dogg. And Road Dogg, they finished their conversation and Road Dogg looks into the camera and goes... Right, I'm just going to go and kill SmackDown now. So I was just like, big pop. Because obviously he knows that people don't like the direction that SmackDown goes sometimes, and he gets all the abuse on Twitter.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite funny. But I do think, like, the last couple of weeks, and it is probably because it's WrestleMania coming up, they seem to be stepping up. Everyone on the show seems to be stepping up.
In between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, we tend to have this weird time where we'll call it experiment season, because that's when Jinder became WWE champion.
I even think like the last part of the year, you know,
in between SummerSlam and Survivor Series,
it always peaks around the big four pay-per-views.
Could we possibly see a member of the New Day, and I want a yes or no answer, whether it's Big E, maybe not Woods, I can see Kofi because they've even bigged him up before, and they've even said WWE champion for Kofi Kingston. Can you see Big E or Kofi and Woods, any of them getting a WWE title shot in between? Yes or no? I want a yes or no answer in between here and SummerSlam or SummerSlam and Survivor Series.
Yes, via,
good. No, thank you. No,
Money in the Bank.
Oh,
that's what I'll go. And
statement, right? No.
Just quickly, completely separate to that.
No.
I think we need to do after WrestleMania. We need to do maybe we do like 5 predictions of what we think will happen during the year, just as a foreshadowing thing.
Okay.
Like obviously saying I think Big E will be world champion by WrestleMania 35.
Oh, okay. So basically, because basically, like people call the end of the financial year, which is why WrestleMania's in April. Yeah. We'll do the end of a. Okay, no, I like that. Okay, so it's some
prediction for the next year.
Between WrestleMania and Backlash, we'll do a 5 things each. We won't tell each other. We'll just write them down, and we'll do it. Cool. Well, we'll do that then. Yeah. Right, perfect. We'll do that. I like that.
Making things on the air, don't we?
You tell me a lot of things we're going to do on air. We go off and do them. That's how the problem with this is WrestleMania was made. Yeah. And I think the WrestleMania quiz was made as well, maybe. Probably. A quiz was made, but then we decided to be WrestleMania. So we're waiting for the intern to make the quiz for us. The last thing we're going to talk about on SmackDown this week was the Randy Orton segment with Jinder and Bobby Roode. Randy Orton is a Grand Slam winner.
He's a Grand Slam
and not in the old traditional terms of like European, Intercontinental Tag and World Heavyweight. He is Intercontinental United States tag on more than one occasion with more than one partner.
I can never remember how these work because I'm sure there was a Grand Slam champion before, like you're saying, when it was. I assume it was European, Intercontinental, WWE.
Shawn Michaels, I think, was maybe the first Grand Slam.
But obviously now there's no European title. I assume you've only got to win one of the world titles.
Yep, Universal or WWE.
So yeah,
but Randy's not only done that. Randy's won World and WWE, and he was undisputed champion as well, wasn't he?
Was he undisputed? I don't think he was undisputed. Oh yeah, he won the
him and Cena. And Cena. He won there when it was the Authority. He had 2 titles.
No, that was called the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
It was,
wasn't it? The undisputed was the one that Jericho won.
Yes, and then Brock won.
Yeah,
because Brock Unite. Yeah. Then it became the undisputed champion again. So confusing. Anyway.
Yeah, too many tasks.
But Randy is a massively decorated and 1 gazillion %.
To me, this stinks of, we need to get Randy Orton on the card. Let's put him as US champion.
Yeah, and you can drop it after.
Probably. Or we'll probably drop it in the match at WrestleMania.
Have him go in as a champion. It's more grand if Randy is a champ instead of him as a challenger and losing.
So it looks like this match will possibly be triple threat. I think it will end up being more.
Well,
I hope they keep on in terms of Raw. They keep their IC triple threat. I don't think that needs anyone else.
No. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute because there's been some changes.
I think the US title. This should be a multi-man match. I can see possibly Rusev getting added to this.
Mm-hmm. Even English as a ladder match.
Zack Ryder, Ty Dillinger. There's a few on there that possibly could. Anyone that's probably on that top 10 list.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at a match that could be a ladder match. Initially, I thought it might have been one of the tags, but I don't think that's going to happen now because of what's happened on Raw and SmackDown, and that sort of only leaves. I mean, you did guess the Money in the Bank maybe would be up for grabs because it looked like Becky was being positioned to kind of potentially win that match from her. I still
think that Carmella won't end up with Money in the Bank briefcase at some point.
Even if it's a singles ladder match, it doesn't have to be a a match like Edge beat Kennedy back in the day as a match.
Like I said, she's had good showing, but I still don't see it.
It would add a different dimension to another women's match at Mania if they put the Money in the Bank because it's something else to put on the line.
Yeah.
I'd work, but then again, Carmella has won the last 2 big matches, so swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
But yes, I think looking at all the titles, I think the US belt is the one positioned the most to be a ladder match.
Yeah.
And I'd feel for Randy and Bobby, to be honest, and Jinder because they've carried it the scene, especially Bobby.
Yeah.
Who'd he beat? Oh, who'd he beat?
Bobby won it in the tournament, didn't he? He beat.
Because
he beat Jinder.
Because Dolph made it.
Yeah, it was Jinder in the final.
Yes.
Yeah, he beat Jinder in the final.
Because Dolph shows how far back that storyline started, doesn't it? Really. There's something in this match that troubled me, Kieran. Can you, before I go into it, can you please tell me the nationality of the 2 wrestlers in the ring?
So Randy Orton's bona fide American.
Okay, not Randy, because Randy didn't wrestle.
Right.
There was a match on SmackDown with Bobby and Jinder.
So Jinder Mahal is Canadian.
Technically, yes, but he's also
Indian.
Portrayed as an Indian, but he is Canadian. What's Bobby Roode?
He's Canadian.
What was the chant during this match?
Was it USA?
It was
Yeah.
Dumbasses, all of them, dumbasses.
I think the problem,
Dumbasses.
that's always the problem with Canada. It's like this,
Dumbasses.
It's like Canada's always seen as like, oh, it's USA when we want it to be USA, but you know.
They're not cheering for anyone in the bloody ring. The babyface is Canadian.
I want to be technical. Why is it called the United States title if anyone can go for it? It's the same as the United Kingdom title. Like we'll see on NXT tonight.
What about
Roderick Strong will go against Pete Dunne.
He will for the UK title.
Roderick Strong's American. So.
But okay, European title, Kieran. How many Europeans will hold that championship?
Exactly.
One? Regal? One?
This is why the NXT North American title makes complete sense, because anyone from Canada, the Caribbean, or Mexico can go for it.
What about if Pete Dunne becomes a unified North American and
then technically he becomes a world champion? He should challenge to Brock. Challenge a match against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
No, he doesn't become a world champion. He becomes what do England and America call themselves when they go to war?
I don't know.
They're like
the Allied Power.
Yeah, something like that. He'd be the Allied Power champion if he was UK and North American
the
NXT
Alliance champion.
Long live the Alliance. Yeah. Bring back Stephanie as ECW. Guys, that's SmackDown and Fastlane. Thank you, Kieran. We're going to bowl onto the bridge segment now. We're going to talk about CM Punk, AAA buying Impact, Jeff Hardy getting a bit tipsy at the wheel again, and all sorts of other things. So stay tuned. This is our bridge segment. So here's the comings, goings, tidbits, and odd, peculiar
Did
things.
You just say tidbits?
Tidbits.
Tidbits.
Yes, tidbits.
You've watched Scrubs, with the woman in the ambulance.
Tidbits.
Tidbits. She goes, tids. What's a tid? What's a bit?
Oh, with Dr. Cox.
A tidbit.
That's quite funny. So these are the things this week that have come up online or we've seen for ourselves that we want to have a very brief, quick chat about. We're going to knock through this in hopefully 5 or 6 minutes. First things first, Cedric Alexander is in the final of the 205 Live tournament. He will be at WrestleMania. Can you say pre-show, Kieran?
Pre-show.
Pre-show, thank you very much.
Although I still like my idea of putting him on an NXT TakeOver.
No, I like that. Yeah, no, I think that'd be a better decision, but let's be honest, it probably won't be. Last year the match was on...
if Triple H had his own way, he probably would do that, I think.
Well, he looks after 205 Live now, which is his first involvement of looking after the main show. He will either face Mustafa Ali or Drew Gulak. Now, I said Drew Gulak because it's a nice, really nice heel face dynamic. Gulak has been there for a long time now. He does. I think if anything, he deserves it. But you said
Drew Gulak was the epitome of a character that Vince McMahon wanted to create for 205 Live.
I think he was the only one that got over.
He's the only one. The PowerPoint presentation was hilarious.
Vote for Gulak.
Yeah, and things
no more flyers. Was that?
No flyers.
No flyers. Yeah.
It was funny and it was good, and he portrayed that character really well. I just think in terms of a match and what WrestleMania is and what the new 205 is, whereas match
205?
205
Oh,
Live. 205 Live is
£20.
Is that I think will be Mustafa Ali. And Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali have faced each other quite a bit recently in the last couple of months on the show. So I think this will end up being the finals of the match.
I think Cedric, he's been champion?
Cedric has, neither of the two have been champion.
Neither two, okay. Well, no, even Gulak wouldn't be. So I kind of do have to agree with you to an extent. I think I would definitely still prefer a Drew Gulak, Cedric Alexander heel face pre-show Mania show.
If this was like a B pay-per-view or a SummerSlam, I'd agree face versus heel. But because it's WrestleMania, I think you can go face versus
I think because it's on a pre-show, which is on YouTube, it's on Facebook.
So everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah. I think seeing Mustafa Ali do some pretty sweet ass flips is something you're going to be drawn into wanting to
that's what the pre-show is. It gets shown on YouTube and Facebook and that to get people to go, oh, look, you can get the network for free for the first month.
You can watch the pre-show for 2 hours for free. It's nearly a pay-per-view 2 hours.
And that's the thing, I'm sure we've probably got a few mates that are not interested in wrestling, but they know WrestleMania and they like to watch WrestleMania.
No, absolutely.
You go, well, look, you can watch the pre-show for 2 hours, and if you want to get it, just sign up for the network. There you go.
I want you to give me your honest opinion on this next Hall of Fame induction, Kieran. When I took the piss and I joked with you that a certain member of the Hall of Fame class would be added. And I said, could you imagine? That would be horse crap. 24 hours later, Kid Rock gets inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame for this year. What a load of... I don't like... I hate the Hall of Fame wing. I don't like it.
You don't like the celebrity ring?
The celebrity,
wing,
sorry.
yeah.
I don't like it.
No. When it first got announced, I was like, oh, okay. It's not,
he looks stoned in his photo.
Yeah, but there's, Rob Van Dam, Sabu,
Paul Heyman,
Sandman, anyone from ECW, basically. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think it's not a bad one. He has contributed to WWE in terms of songs.
Is Fred Durst in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Why isn't he there? Surely he's more...
Is he not more messed up in the head? Is he not at the moment? I don't think he's very well.
Oh, is he? Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he's well. He's well, but he's not
doing great.
Conscious enough to
right.
Like it's like the old Sonny sort of thing. Okay. She's a bit doolally at the moment.
I mean, again, I'll just say this one last thing. Kid Rock did one song, I think, which was Undertaker's song for original song.
Yeah.
And then Fred Durst did Limp Bizkit. He did a lot of different things.
Here.
He did Rollin'. He did WrestleMania 17, My Way, which was still in my mind
one of the greatest promo video packages of all time.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks maybe next year.
Possibly.
Kid Rock's in. He's there. There's nothing I can do about it.
Look, he's done loads of songs for WrestleMania, like for WWE pay-per-view.
No, he has.
Like that. So look, he deserves it in that sort of sense.
But Fred Durst,
think there's a celebrity wing or not?
Fred Durst performed at WrestleMania. Kid Rock hasn't.
I think he has performed.
Has he?
I think they said in his little video package.
Yeah, I did watch that. I don't want to watch that.
Performed at Raw, Tribute to the Troops, and WrestleMania.
Oh, fair enough then. But
I think he deserves a spot there. They always do a celebrity one every year. So if it had to be Kid Rock this year,
Kieran, do you want to buy Impact? Because everyone else is fancying a go with it.
How much you got?
Well, I've got a few hundred in the bank. Got paid this month, so maybe 500 quid. Do you want to chip in with that?
I don't think we're able to pay for much, but that's probably how much their title's worth. So
if we sell all of the back library to WWE, we could make a few quid.
Yeah.
Just a few quid.
That'd just be on the DVD sales of AJ Styles.
Oh my god, this is so bad. So AAA want to buy Impact. Now they've got a working agreement with them. As have Lucha Underground, actually. They've got a working agreement with Impact Wrestling as well. Impact Wrestling, we can not only have too long to talk about how ups and downs and down they've got. If AAA buy them, I just see them closing it. Really. I
think this is the thing with these days with companies.
Companies buying companies?
Companies working with each other.
Synergy?
Because you've got WWE. They're the biggest company in the world.
Top of the pyramid.
And everyone else is like getting together. It's WWE and everyone else.
Well, even New Japan made a working agreement with Ring of Honor and PWG, I believe. Yeah. Obviously, PWG to a lesser extent. Who accidentally sold too many tickets to their front row for their next show. So you know what they did? They booked a bit bigger building. Yeah, so if you heard about that, great. PWG haven't really moved out of Reseda, California, in that little kind of arena for years. So bigger thing. Good news for them. Love PWG. So I hope that really works out for them. I think it will. I just hope it's get that same energy. In regards to Impact potentially being bought again, I mean, talk about taking a horse behind a shed and putting it out of its misery. How long have we been saying this for now, and it still hasn't happened?
There's been rumours of Del Rio potentially coming back to WWE.
Oh, God.
And if he does, that's Impact losing another big.
Still waiting for Bobby Roode to show up after Bobby Lashley to show up after WrestleMania.
Yeah, we still got that.
Which is another one.
Impact are losing stars, but they because they're losing stars, there's an opportunity to create some, and ultimately they probably end up in NXT. But they're not becoming
stars because no one's watching.
Yeah, but
you have to watch to become a star.
Yeah, I'm sure Regal and Triple H are watching it and going, "Yep, you'll be in NXT in the next year."
Spud made his way over eventually. Yeah. EC3 came back.
Yeah,
the good ones will rise to the top.
Yeah, if Triple H do buy them, good for them. Obviously, there's a foot in the American market, or technically they're a Canadian company now, aren't they? So
I've stopped caring.
Yeah, just too many name changes, too many owners.
Yeah,
but like even you want to say Billy Corgan, he's taken over the NWA now, right? And
they've started a relationship with Impact smidgen as well.
Obviously, Magnus is champ, or Nick Aldis. Faced Ellsworth.
He did.
He's been doing the NWA title starting to get a bit more. So there's a lot of ownership. Even WWE's got ownership talks happening. Vince McMahon might not be in charge of the company, so
Yeah, but yeah, lots to talk about there. Kieran, Jeff Hardy got arrested
Again.
Did
he?
DUI.
Yeah.
He got arrested, and apparently, again, rumours. You can read what you want online. Doesn't mean it's true. Apart from our Twitter feed, we like to make sure we're not completely lying before we tweet out.
So we always lie. Craig is awesome. I put on Twitter.
That's
the biggest lie.
That's a bunch of crap. And apparently he was 3 times over the allowed amount to drink and drive.
It's a very weird thing when WWE come out and say Jeff Hardy is responsible for his own actions. Yet when Rich Swann potentially hit his wife,
but wasn't found guilty.
He wasn't found guilty.
No.
WWE were like, "Oh, we take these matters very seriously."
Weirdly, neither. I mean, again, I don't really want to get into him because from what it would appear, he's a bit of a scumbag. But Enzo Amore wasn't found guilty of anything. He just lied about not telling them what happened.
The story's nothing really has come out of it.
Disappeared.
Yeah, it's just disappeared, isn't it?
So apparently, unless he must have told them, because that's why they fired Enzo. Rich Swann got fired because it was too much for them to take on, but he was never found guilty. Still hasn't, as far as I'm concerned.
Not to sit there and compare like domestic violence to drinking.
Sexual harassment was Enzo's.
Yeah.
Domestic battery.
They're all crimes. They're all horrible things to happen.
Well, we should say that the Enzo and
I think from WWE's perspective, you can't sit there and say, "Well, this is we'll say this is their own responsibility," and this one, we take these things very seriously. I think you just need to go, well, they're all serious,
but we take them individually.
We'll take them individually. And
Enzo,
case.
Yeah, Enzo and Rich Swann were obviously Enzo was worse. Rich Swann's was still very bad, but technically Jeff Hardy he's not hurt. He crashed the car. He binned the car off. Yeah. He's not hurt anyone but himself.
But he could have done.
He could, and of course, I'm sure WWE will probably. I think the best form of action here is to suspend him.
Well, yeah, but
he's injured, so what does it matter?
That normally doesn't matter. But if you've gone out drinking, you're an idiot if you think you can drive a car.
He's a role model, and it's an irresponsible move. Peter, like I've said before, there are.
He's had problems before in his life.
Why does
he need to do it again?
There are friends of mine. For me, he's injured and bored.
Yeah, probably.
It just looks the most obvious. It might not be true, but it just looks most. There's friends of mine whose kids know just as much about wrestling as we do because of dirt sheets and wrestling, and they will hear about this, and then he'll come back and they go, "Oh, that's the guy that got drunk on."
Kids think wrestlers are superheroes.
Yeah, and Jeff Hardy can't do that.
If Jeff Hardy's a superhero that drinks and he's allowed to drive, they might think they can do the same.
Yeah,
you're right. It's a big stretch, but
no.
He's in my eyes, he's an idiot. Everyone can have a drink. I'm not saying he shouldn't be drinking.
People make mistakes, but it's a lot of mistakes.
Don't go out driving once you've had a few drinks.
The last thing I want to talk about during our little bridge segment before we hit on Monday Night Raw and round up today's DSM is it's not wrestling related, but it's incredibly sort of relevant, if you like. CM Punk will wrestle at, is it 235 or 255?
Please don't say wrestle.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God. He will fight. He will fight. Damn it.
Ultimate Fighting Championship.
And get battered in the first round. Why is he doing...
13 seconds.
If you'd have got massively destroyed and got paid $1 million? 2 million? 10 million?
I'd probably take £1 million to get punched in the face.
He got he got a hell of a lot of money, but got absolutely annihilated in the first 2 minutes of his UFC debut. It was at 205. Weirdly. He wrestled and fighted. So wrestling podcast, what I'm saying, wrestle. He had a fight, he lost. Why is he coming back for seconds? Why is he not going to like a smaller organisation and building himself up?
He's a name. It's just like why Ronda Rousey's in WWE.
It's a good comparison.
It's his name.
It's a good comparison. She can't wrestle as well as he can, and he can't fight as well as she can, but he still gets to go on as well as she does.
Because it's a name. It's just like if
he'll make Dana White a load of money.
Shaquille O'Neal come into UFC or something like that.
What did Michael Jordan play baseball?
Yeah, he went to baseball.
He probably made baseball a lot of money.
It was a story. He wasn't.
Was he any good?
He didn't make the major leagues.
Was he good?
He was alright, but he didn't make the major leagues. But if he's a name. It's
let's do another comparison. If Usain Bolt does, he won't play for Man United. He can dream what he wants. But if Usain Bolt actually did sign for, say, a German or a French first division team, do you think that would draw in?
Yeah, because he's a name. He's a name, and that's it's a marketability. And Punk being in this, and I think the event that he's been touted for is in Chicago. Again, makes sense. Get the fans in. Even you get you get Chicago fans in, but you're also going to get the wrestling fans in. You watched UFC when Punk fought.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I think first time you may have watched it ever.
I think I watched it when Brock on 200. I think I watched 200 because on BT Sport, it's free.
It's free.
So I watched 200. I watched a Ronda fight as well. Because of interest to me.
Yeah,
it's not. I've not watched it.
It's gonna get the casual fans in if they go.
Which is me.
CM Punk's gonna come fight at UFC 225 or whatever it be. You know,
I think it's 235 or 45.
Yeah, something like that.
So he's left it a long time. It's not like it's every week. These fights. They're every a few months. There's a
ultimately what this will be.
Ultimately, oh, you're so funny.
He'll have the fight.
So funny.
Whether he wins or loses, he'll probably end up at that all-in show that Cody Rhodes is doing because he teased it.
We tweeted the Bucks back.
Yeah, so probably likely just to show his face there. He may not wrestle or show his face, and then when his UFC career's over, he think, Vince McMahon's going to come in for a bit of money, and he'll end up in WWE.
Could be Triple H by that time.
Yeah, it could be Triple H. Yeah.
Right. That's the bridge, that's Fastlane, that's Smackdown. It's a real backward show, but now we will get to Monday Night Raw. And Kieran, you're going to get these hands. First off the bat, Brock and Roman, this backwards and forwards thing where Brock's going to show up, and 2 weeks in a row he hasn't. Now, obviously it's planned. Obviously, Heyman and Lesnar know that they're going to do this. They're going to talk some smack and they're going to make it look as real as possible. They're literally trying their absolute damnedest to get Roman to be liked and Brock to be hated. They're really trying. Roman's killing the promos, and this week it went a little bit further and they started talking about Vince McMahon.
Even Cena's trying to get people beyond Roman.
Really?
Why did you not see him in the crowd during his segment?
When
Cena goes, "Let's go, Roman," and the crowd started booing.
Jesus Christ!
You don't see that bit. Anyway, yeah. I think they're doing a great job with this. Roman's doing a great job. Again, it's WrestleMania season. People seem to be stepping up their game. This whole story of Brock no showing, I think, is good.
He's going to be there next week, apparently. We'll find out. I don't think he will be.
What I liked about this is that obviously he talked about he can take the disrespect from Lesnar, he can take the disrespect from the WWE Universe, but you can't take the disrespect of Vince McMahon. And everyone's going, what's Vince got to do with it?
He said the magic word.
And Brock Lesnar is apparently a Vince McMahon guy. And I'm
his boy.
Yeah.
He called him his boy.
And I'm thinking, hang on, Roman Reigns and you Vince McMahon's boy. You know? So it's a bit weird. But
fascinating.
So he goes backstage and you actually go into Gorilla.
I wasn't sure whether they would cut at that stage. I thought they were going to cut to Gorilla and Roman coming through in potentially a pre-done piece.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was.
No.
I think this was it was a continuing shot.
Oh, it's definitely live because I think someone got in the way of the shot.
Adam Pearce?
I think so, potentially. He had to move some wire out of the way or something like that.
Road Dogg moved, and I didn't see Michael Hayes. Big pop for Shane. I don't know if it was for Vince, but I think it was for Shane.
Yeah.
Who was next to Vince on the producing thing. Again, that's what actually happens.
I think Shane's been there on Raw before in a backstage
for some time.
Sort of segment.
WrestleMania season though, it's good for him to be there.
Shane's obviously come into the company. He's back into the company in a main sort of thing. He is,
and rightly so. I
suppose taking his
rightful place.
Yeah. But we still think that Triple H and Stephanie will be running things, but Shane's going to have some sort of
massive say. Yeah. I mean, not to get too far into this because we could go. I think Shane and Stephanie will elevate to what Vince does, and Shane will probably elevate into something what Stephanie and Stephanie and Triple H currently do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a progression of thing. So Vince takes Roman to one side. They go backstage. Okay, a few segments pass. They go backstage. They have a meeting, and Roman comes straight out, goes away.
Completely blanks Renee.
He does. Poor girl. Shouldn't deserve that. The thing that makes me think that this isn't working is that when Vince categorically says that Brock will be on next week, you have my word. A Vince McMahon word is even in kayfabe terms a big word.
Yeah.
However, when he said, and for the time being, Roman Reigns is temporarily suspended, it got a big old pop.
Yeah, it did.
So they're really, really trying.
People are going to dislike Roman.
Like Cena?
They're just going to dislike him. It is what it is. See, even when Cena won his 16th world title, everyone cheered and applauded him. They respected him. And I think there's respect for Roman. I just think that people don't like Roman because he's WWE's guy. He's handpicked.
Even though that he called Brock his boy, yeah, I think Roman is still obviously the chosen one to succeed. That was pretty much it, really. Well, I'm not going to talk about that too much. It wasn't that long lived on Raw, but
it was a good little segment. I liked how they're trying to play into the realism of it, and
again, Roman doesn't work on Raw for the second week.
Yeah,
and why have him? Why? There's no point in him. Like I've said before, with Asuka and with Charlotte, having them wrestle people you know they're going to beat. To me, it just doesn't help them, and it puts down the talent they're facing.
It depends on the storyline. So AJ Styles, Shinsuke needs matches because
but they're winning, and
but they need matches because it's about competition.
But funnily enough,
Roman Reigns Lesnar isn't so much about competition. Roman Reigns just wants to beat Brock Lesnar.
Super quickly, and I do believe though that AJ could lose. He lost to Sammy. He lost to Kevin. AJ has that capacity of, will he keep the belt? Will he lose? Will he win? See, people like Roman. Come on, he's the only one. He's the only one in this run to pin Braun Strowman. He's the only one. Yeah. So, and that's twice.
I think they almost don't want Roman to be in a match just in case he gets injured. Because I think they think this is the biggest
cotton wool.
Yeah, the biggest match of the night, and it is the biggest match. It's the match probably not as much as interested in as about 5 or 6 more of them, but it is the biggest match.
So speaking of Braun Strowman, he did a thing.
He did
quite
a big thing. I popped for the quite a little big thing.
He did quite a big thing that normally takes 2 people. Literally takes 2 people. He put himself in a tag team battle royale that originally broke down after a match between the Miz, Taraj and the Bar on Raw. Yeah. Every time Dick and Harry tag team came down, obviously made a match flow on the night. Look, open challenge or not, I'm going to make this decision for you. The winner of this match will be facing you guys at WrestleMania for the Raw Tag Team Championship.
So it looks like AOP's not happening.
And it looks like another thing that I saw and I would have loved, because I predicted it a long time ago around Rumble time, that we'd have Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, and that's probably not going to happen now either.
I want to talk about the bad things about this at the moment.
So
we've talked how bad, I say how lack of depth there are in both tag team.
Mega fast. So first things first, Braun won.
Yeah,
and he became solely.
And he needed to win. If he was going to be involved in it, he's got to win it.
He threatened poor Chad Patton. He said, "Ring the bell." I'd ring the bell. I wouldn't have not rung the bell. He won the match. The Bar, bit of a little backstage say, whether if it was on Raw Extra Digital or whatever it was, or whether it was. I missed it on the main show, but it was Charlie was trying to catch up with them and get an interview with them, but they were off to see Kurt Angle. What do you think was good and bad about this then?
So the bad thing is that the whole current tag team division on Raw looks really weak because they lost to Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
that's what I don't like.
It looks terrible. Apart from the Bar,
I still think they had a good showing. Every tag team in there. I think obviously
Carl Anderson.
Yeah,
big old clap for him. The machine gun.
Yeah, he's tweeted out that you'll be soon seeing the machine gun, and I'm like,
that's the gimmick you want. Yeah, he was sick in a Ring of Honor.
It's a bit unfortunate because the club we quite enjoy.
Keep him like the Shield together.
Like the Revival. We've talked about them before.
Poor bastards.
There's depth there. There's depth there. It's just they're not building them up. And look, they needed to find a way to get Braun Strowman on the card. And to play into Braun Strowman's gimmick of doing completely over the top things. This isn't over the top of the thing. If it is going to be Braun Strowman versus the Bar for the tag titles, that's just straight into what Braun's been doing for the last 18 months. Will he get a tag team partner? And obviously there's been a lot of talk whether he should get one, should have one, should this match be null and void because he didn't have a tag team partner.
If it's null and void, for me, if it becomes null and void and he ends up doing something else at WrestleMania, all they're doing here is they're killing time, because they actually, A, they know what they want to do, but they know it won't need much build, or 2, they still have absolutely not a Scooby.
I think they regret having put in Roman versus Lesnar so early on from last year when they talked about it. I think because of the year that Strowman's had, they wished it was Strowman versus Lesnar.
What did we do in our poll after the Rumble?
Yeah.
How many people?
People wanted him to add to the match.
They wanted a triple threat, and I don't know why they're not doing it.
Yeah.
They clearly want Roman Brock. Again, it happened at 31. Seth obviously made a right mess of that, and now they want it again. It's so painfully obvious who's going to win.
Yeah, but that's maybe why it needs to be a singles match.
So Braun, I hope it doesn't go last,
because look, the only guy that's, like I said, is beat Strowman is Roman.
So
if Strowman faces Roman after Mania, then, you could win the title.
Strowman versus Mania. Yeah, no, I think so. The only person that at the moment that you said it, and it's already before I saw it online. You'd already said it to me. The only person that's been battered around that could be his tag team partner for WrestleMania, because I think he absolutely needs one. Whether he picks it or whether Kurt picks it for him, will be Elias.
Yeah.
And we go back from before Chamber, during the Chamber, after Chamber, the Symphony of Orchestra match.
Symphony of Destruction.
Thank you. I get that wrong all the time. That's what I can see happening.
So
what did Elias do on Raw?
Yeah, he just had a little in-ring segment and walked away, didn't he? Pretty much, that was it.
He was supposed to do his little singing, but
in kayfabe terms, the Bar are obviously going to want Braun to have a tag team partner because they want to find someone that they can beat. Because they probably think even on together that it's going to be hard to beat Braun.
If he can beat every tag team,
so if you can keep him out of the ring and keep someone else in and take the pin on it, look. If Braun wins the tag titles, it's going to be, it'd be quite
on his own,
on his own with a partner. I think he deserves some sort of title or some,
to show off his work. Yeah, I think from a, not even from a purist thing. There's a singles division for a reason, and there is a tag team division for a reason. If he doesn't have a tag team partner, I'll say this now: I love Braun Strowman,
because obviously there's been instances of people winning tag team titles when they were on their own, but they had a partner to start with, or the partner got injured, or they've had to defend the titles because their partner got injured, but they can't get someone else because they're the tag team champions. There's been loads of instances of that, but there's never been an instance of someone willingly going for the tag titles without a tag team partner.
I'm trying to think if Kurt or some other Joe did it in TNA.
I think Benoit did it with someone
Kurt
once
Angle?
on his own. It might have been Kurt Angle.
Kurt walked off mid-match, but Benoit still won the match.
Still won the match, yeah.
I think
there's been
Kurt
a few instances of
or
it.
Joe won the tag titles on their own in TNA, but then they defended it in a singles match, but they defended both belts. At one point, one of them had all of the titles.
Yeah.
What a bit of a mess that was.
TNA.
That was in 2007.
Yeah. Yeah. So but it's. I think he'll get a tag partner. I hope in some way. I saw someone put this on Twitter and I thought it was quite funny. Remember Daniel Bryan and Kane when they went, "I'm the tag team champion."
I'm the tag team champion.
I want Braun to say that.
I'm going to Disneyland.
I want Braun to go to Disneyland.
Do you know what? We're leaving that there. That's perfect. I want Braun to go to Disneyland as well. So, Cena didn't win at Fastlane. He's not the WWE. He's not the record-breaking 17-time champion. He's not going to WrestleMania in a triple threat match with Nakamura and AJ Styles.
I did like the little bit where he pushed the camera away at Fastlane when he was in the corner.
He did.
Pushed the camera away.
He did.
It's a small little thing. I thought it was really good.
Small things are important. He did it again, but this time he has officially not just called out the Undertaker at WrestleMania, but he kicked on and already started mocking him. And I tell you what, I thought we were another 30 seconds away from him calling him Marg.
Yeah,
I really did. Tell him what they said about the Instagram.
So he said, basically, like it's going to be paraphrasing because I can't remember word for word, but he said, stop posting workout videos on your wife's Instagram.
Yeah. So the Undertaker, the dead man who's dead, he walks around. He's not married, but
so this is
Mark Calloway is married, so they're blurring the lines between.
So there's this theory
gimmick and.
So obviously at the last WrestleMania, he laid down his hat, his gloves, his coat. So he come out Raw 25 without the gloves, without the hat.
He did
without the coat.
I like that. Terrible promo.
Kid Rock is going to the Hall of Fame.
God,
who done Biker Taker's music?
Oh,
Kid
no.
Rock. Will we see?
Thank you very much for listening to this week's Dirt Shit Mania.
I don't know if I'd want to see it.
I'm going to say this now. I haven't heard this, so go on, go through it.
I don't know if I'd want to see Biker Taker. I would like to see not Undertaker wrestle, because I think if this is Taker's last match, he should wrestle. Just, you know, he doesn't need to be the Undertaker. He needs to be Mark Calloway. He just needs to be a wrestler.
Fake Diesel.
Yeah, but I.
You want him to be him?
I don't know if I'd want him to be Biker Taker, because you'd assume if he wasn't to wrestle as the Undertaker, he'd be some sort of version of Biker Taker, because that's what he does. He likes his bikes. He likes his his American muscle.
Biker Taker was more of an extension of him.
Yeah.
So interestingly, Biker Taker did face John Cena.
Yeah.
Quite a few times back in the day, but on SmackDown.
He was Big Evil, right?
Booker Red. I think Cena was probably heel.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
So he'd have been babyface. Around the time of WrestleMania 19, I think.
Yeah.
Just after. So, but he's never faced Deadman.
No.
Undertaker. I don't know. The only time I can think they probably came across each other was probably in the Odd Rumble, but I'm not even that confident of that. So for me, visually, the green or whatever.
He'll probably have a new t-shirt, mate.
Whatever kind of coloured t-shirt Cena wants to wear versus the demonic demon Undertaker. You know, that for me would be cool.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
I'd rather him face Deadman Undertaker, but it's just there's just a lot of things out there at the moment going. Oh, this could be a Biker Taker version.
Could be possible
because Cena in his promo alluded to Taker's personal life. That's never been talked about before.
No.
It's never been talked about that he has a wife. It's never been talked about.
That she's a former Divas champion.
It's never been talked about. Why would you do that? And obviously,
certainly
they're
not
blurring the lines of realism
with him,
with Roman and Brock, and now they're doing it with this. They have to go some sort of route with an undead version of Undertaker.
Do you think we're seeing Michelle McCool on television?
What mixed tag team match? With, Cena and
Nikki Bella and John Cena versus at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's if Taker can't go. That's what's going to happen. Cena's going to be in a mixed tag for the second year running.
We wanted Taker in a tag team match to save him for the last few years, and we're going to get it. We're going to get Mark and Michelle versus John and Nicole.
With, what's his name?
John Laurinaitis.
No, who does Take Me Out?
Paddy McGuinness.
Paddy McGuinness is special referee.
Paddy McGuinness. Do you reckon the awkward part when Taker leaves his light on for Nikki and turns it off for Michelle?
Yeah.
I wonder where Death Valley really is. Oh my god. Yeah. So it's. I mean, we when we put in our WrestleMania, what's wrong with WrestleMania video, we did put Cena and Taker as finished. That will be our match.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It was always gonna happen. I think they just needed to
figure out a way.
One, a way to get there, and two, I think add in the fact that Cena was looking for a way to WrestleMania through a title match. I think it just added to it. It makes it not more desperate for Cena, but it makes it more valuable to him, because he has the only way he can technically now get on WrestleMania is by challenging
anyone, the
toughest competitor ever, the person who had the streak, and, the longest current stint on the roster. So, it makes sense. Will we see Undertaker on Raw next week? Don't think so. I can see a Taker not appear until the final Raw.
Bit like Brock, maybe,
or even just not turn up till WrestleMania. He just
I don't think he'll do that. I don't think
do a video message on the wall saying I accept, like he did against Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, no, possibly. Well, yeah, he didn't appear at all with that one, didn't he? To be the woman, you've got to beat the woman, and that is exactly what Asuka said to Bliss, Little Miss Bliss, on Raw. When I tell you what, she 5 Feet of Fury. When now she knows that she's not facing Asuka at WrestleMania, she was giving it absolutely everything. She mocked her accent, even though she's worked on her English, as we spoke about earlier. She was like, "Oh, you're a coward. You're scared." Even with Mickey by her side and knowing that she's not facing at WrestleMania, she really laid it into Asuka. Mickey did Alexa.
Yeah, well, it plays into the character that she portrays so well. So obviously Asuka faced Mickie James, but this was after
she killed her.
She tried getting Nia Jax to come out.
They did it like 2 or 3 times, and
it turns out that Nia, obviously, as we'll talk about soon, she had a match later on that
she did.
booked her in. So Mickie James ended up having a match against Asuka. Weirdly, after the match, when Alexa was backstage with Nia, she suddenly revealed that she's facing Asuka next week. Now I don't know if I missed something, but I don't think there was an announcement for that. It was just suddenly, oh yeah, so I'm facing Asuka next week. There wasn't no.
So backstage in a segment between. She walked when Mickie got beat. She walked off.
Yeah,
she didn't hang around, did she? As she tends to do. She found Nia, like you say, and was there a commercial break in between?
Yeah, I think there might have been a commercial, but there was no.
How many times do we come back from commercial and they go, and Kurt Angle just made this match? Yeah. It'll be Big E versus blah blah blah.
A segment where Alexa walks past. Cancel, by the way.
Oh well.
Alexa walked past Kurt Angle or something like that, and said, and Kurt Angle goes, "You'll have a match."
Yeah.
Cancel.
Yeah. So that fine, it's happening. Later on, we see a scenario where Nia Jax annihilates another local very quickly. You can still see flaws in some of her work. When she hit that final move, she didn't sort of go seemingly into a cover. She kind of walked over and went, "Oh, I should probably cover you now," and then kind of went down to cover. When she's in the ring with Mickie or Asuka or even an Alicia Fox, you can still see the matches are so much better.
Yeah, she's still. I don't want to say green. I think she's not as green anymore, but I think she still does need her hand to be held.
I know what you mean
in matches. It's not to say that she's a bad wrestler, because
no. It's just
the style of wrestling that she has to do. She doesn't have to do flips and all that stuff. She's a physical powerhouse.
She's not been wrestling that long.
No.
You got. I mean, okay, the pressure's there. She's a relative of The Rock. Jimmy Snuka, Peter Hyde. Peter Maivia, Rocky Johnson. There's the Usos, Tamina. There's a long lineage of people that she's related to in the business that have held at a huge esteem. So the pressure's there, but for what she's doing at the stage of her career, like we say, we think she's brilliant, and they need to help her as much as they can, because she's been really caught quite quickly. If you look at the grand scheme of things, she destroyed the local competitor. On the Tron, there was Mickie and Alexa. When I say bad mouthing, I'm not doing it justice. No. I'm really not. They dug as deep as they could. They threw the biggest pile of verbal garbage over the top of Nia as they physically possibly could, and the reaction. I mean, the line that they used that I think was probably the most, "She is dumb as she is big," was thrown about a little bit. I love this whole thing. Right, and the reason why I loved it is because it was a very weird. When I first saw it live, and I was like, well, "This is a bit of a weird camera view here. Like, why is?" Because usually they're sort of zoomed into their face. It was wide. Even when Mickie walked out of shot, I'm like, "Why is Mickie walking out of shot?"
Yeah.
But we now sort of find out about 30 seconds later that they're like, "Where the hell's Charlie? Yeah, she's always late."
Yeah. So it's obviously
How crazy it is. About a month ago, Mickie was on the babyface team. She was fine. All Alexa had to do was go, "You fancy giving me a hand in the chamber?" And now she's a full-blown heel.
Yeah, very weird that. Very weird.
I mean, okay, and considering how pissed she was when over on SmackDown, when Alexa kind of screwed her a little bit on SmackDown, she's apparently forgiven her for all of that.
Yeah. Wrestling's a fickle business.
Yeah, no, it is.
But let's say I like this whole segment. It's different. They've not really done anything like this before, or for a while at least anyway.
I can't remember the last time.
It almost screamed GTV.
Yeah. Goldust.
But
then, I mean, Nia's seen this in the ring. She absolutely... I mean, the word rampage doesn't do it justice. She just... like a hurricane.
She broke down first, didn't she? She obviously... She got betrayed by...
But the pop when when they realised what was about to happen, and then Alexa and Mickie throwing stuff in a bag, and they were like, "It's a race. Who's getting out first? Are they leaving, or is Nia going to get there?" Oh my goodness,
we've said before that Nia Jax should be a heel, but because of the way she smiles and she is a beautiful woman,
the body positive
and the
message
body positive image
for younger ladies
it's
and girls.
Almost she has to be a face. And this...
She's been a heel.
Yeah.
She would be babyface.
This whole thing is going to make people feel sorry for her. I even tweeted out, if you want to hug Nia Jax, I'd love to get a hug from her. But,
I'd love a hug of her. She's great.
But that's to get the people on her side, and obviously because Alexa's the bully, she's the mean girl, isn't she?
She's the sorority. That's exactly what she is. Sorority is.
So, it's to get people on Nia's side, and I think Nia won't end up getting her hands on Alexa until WrestleMania. The match will probably be announced next week after Asuka beats Alexa in their match. What I maybe would have liked to seen more is she did go on a rampage, but I think maybe a bit more destruction, because it just seemed to be she ripped suitcases off their thing, which was obviously that looks good. But when the men go on rampage, they do a lot more damage with a lot more things, and I'd maybe like to see this a little bit more from Nia.
What I know what you're saying. Like sometimes you see them
smash the mirror. So that mirror there was perfect to be smashed. Just throw a chair at it or something.
They pick they generally beat up security.
Yeah.
Because there's men security guards. Yeah. Obviously, female security guards. I don't know. What I would have liked, and I know we just said about this, about what she could have done to Charlie.
She could have maybe just put her hands on Charlie, not hit Charlie, but just
pick her up,
grab her by the shoulders, and go, just start shaking her, and then realise, sorry, not sorry, but just sort of put her down and just go,
take a deep breath, walk away,
and then go just running off set. Because when you're angry, you lose all sense of what's good and what's wrong and everything like that.
She seemed to have complete restraint when it came to Charlie.
We all have regrets when we get angry. We say stuff, we do stuff, we don't.
Because we all have that point where we all switch.
We do, and maybe if that happened, that may have added to it a little bit. Yeah, more. But these are little things. These are little things that WWE may not have thought of. Nia Jax maybe
they couldn't do it.
Maybe they couldn't do it.
Maybe
they didn't think of it, or Nia wasn't brave enough to speak up and go, well, I think this is what should happen. Or, just little things. But I'm just to say that it would have added to it. And it doesn't mean this was a bad segment, because I loved it. I think it was a great segment. But it's just a little thing like that. I think if they'd done it, would have added a little bit more to it.
Next week, we are getting the ultimate deletion.
I'm glad you can do that sort of thing, because I can't.
You not do that?
No. I'm not going to try it.
It's you really, really, really wanted a hour special on the network, which
I think
that's what it's built for.
I think it's just an hour, because you can go back. It's not like you have to go watch it Monday night at 9 p.m. East Coast time, whatever. You go watch it on the network. Probably could have done it after NXT or before NXT.
The original Impact one, when it was Broken Matt versus Jeff, and they did. I think it was a 20-minute video on YouTube, and you could sit there and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was the highest rated thing Impact had done in a hell of a long time. Yeah. There's a few, Matt did the announcement, and he said that we will be seeing next week on Raw, he will see the whole Broken family, obviously except Jeff Hardy.
I think Jeff has recorded stuff for it.
Do you think so? Possibly pre-recorded. They could yank that.
Yeah,
they could yank that.
I think it will appear. Why wouldn't it?
We'll see. I mean, it depends how they take this deal. Regardless, if he does or he doesn't,
I'll be interested to see who else pops up.
Well, they've announced Vanguard 1, which is the drone. We've also announced Queen Rebecca, obviously his real life wife. King Maxwell.
Maxwell. It's Maxwell.
Maxwell.
It's not Maxwell.
Yeah, it is.
It's not. It's Maxwell.
Maxwell.
Pretty sure it's Maxwell.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he pronounced that wrong then. Senior Benjamin, which is the gardener. He's a gardener. Mr. Gardener. And Wolfgang, not to be confused with the UK division 300-pound plus Wolfgang. Yeah. This is a baby. I assume he's some sort of fashionable pianist that potentially was around in the 1600s, which is where the vessel that takes his body has taken him to.
You've watched too much of this, haven't you?
I watched it. Was that a good impression?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take that. There's a few things.
King Maxwell cutting his first promo.
He did.
Yeah,
it sounds really, really weird and probably a bit creepy to say I've watched him grow up, but we kind of have. Yeah. He's been on Impact a lot. He was in the ring. He pinned a guy in TNA or an indie show. I don't know. This family is made for television. I know they're doing a Ms. and Mrs., but the Hardys, gimmicked, scripted.
I think it'd be a little over the top.
It would, but why not?
Not good enough.
Why not?
Probably need to come with an 18 certificate.
There's a few things
I can't wait for it.
So there was one thing that I'm thinking of my head. They did in TNA also, because we know he's sort of in the company now. What if we see Jeremy Borash next week?
I think, from what I've heard, Jeremy Borash had stuff to do with it. And second of all, I think Matt Hardy's actually been given total creative license to do what he likes with this.
Well, that's pretty much what they did with the first one.
So, but this is usually with WWE. Vince McMahon's got his, he wants to get involved in it, or
his hand on the pulse.
Yeah, but I think Vince McMahon's probably. I hope Vince has had nothing to do with it, or he's just turned up and he sat there and he's watched it. Because Matt Hardy could be the type of thing in 10, 20 years, he could be a road agent. He could be working in NXT as a...
Yeah.
Because you can see he has that creative thinking,
absolutely.
like Jake the Snake.
Matt Hardy he's gone from being the Hardy Boys as a tag team to version 1 with Shannon Moore. He then left and went to...
Become Fat Hardy.
Ring of Honor and became Fat Hardy. I think he joined Scum, which was in the same team as Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
In Ring of Honor, he had all the money, and do you remember the promo where he had the little cue cards come up and he looked at the cue cards and looked at the camera, go, being rich is difficult and things like that. Was very funny. He then went back to WWE with Jeff. He then left again, went to TNA, was a Hardy Boy, reinvented himself as Bro. The guy has so many incarnations. It is incredible when you think about it.
Yeah.
When it comes to this, there's one thing in this Hardy compound which happened in the TNA one, and that is the Fountain of Youth and
Lake of Reincarnation.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about. So in that, Jeff Hardy last time went from being, as Jeff Hardy, he got reincarnated to Willow, which is his alter ego in TNA. He also got reincarnated to 2011 Jeff Hardy in TNA, which is when he was world champion and he had that very much looking like Diva's world heavyweight title in TNA, and so when he was part of what was it called? It was like Hogan's group, and it was like Hogan, Bischoff, Abyss, Jeff Hardy. It was a really weird group. Yeah, that was and he had like a purple tie. He was a heel with a corporate gimmick. And then he dropped in again, and he came up back as Jeff Hardy in 2000. Was it probably 15, 16? Out the original Ultimate Deletion was done. So I can see Husky Harris popping up. I really can.
It would be good. The only thing with Husky Harris is that Husky Harris didn't have a beard, so the slight things that
he had a kind of scruffy.
Yeah, it wasn't as big as Bray Wyatt.
No,
beard, so
a bit like yours actually, probably.
Yeah. Thanks. Mine's better than what Husky Harris's was. Not as good as Bray Wyatt's.
No, you're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it'd be good. I'd be like I said, I think it'd be interesting to see what other people turn up in this. Could we see Hurricane turn up? Shane Helms,
Jeff Hardy.
He's part of that little group, isn't he? Shannon Moore.
Could you imagine if we see version 1 Matt Hardy?
That'd be funny.
And Shannon Moore's there. Yeah. This skit could be
so much to do with it. I hope it's probably ultimately.
Could you see Gangrel and the Brood? Oh,
yeah,
please,
potentially, yeah.
Lita, do you think Lita will be up for this?
No, I doubt it.
Come on,
yeah. What with Rebecca there? No, I doubt it.
Edge will be Edge Christian, Hardy Boys,
the Dudleys. It's just a random TLC match in the middle of the Ultimate Deletion between
NXT band on Husky.
Yeah,
Wade Barrett show up. Oh come on, there's so many things, Kieran.
This is why I think it needed to be an hour show on the network, right? But I think it's ultimately going to be a 15.
It could have been a movie.
Yeah, it could have been. But this will just be a 15-minute segment on Raw, and I think it needs
with
more
ads.
Than that. Yeah,
I reckon this will be something we come back to 2 or 3 times in the night.
I hope so. Is that
wise?
If they do it that way, I'd prefer it. I don't think they need to do 15 minutes straight up, because it's going to be a 1-segment match, or it has an ad break, and it's still going to be 15 minutes. If they, like saying, go back here and there over the night for 3 hours, I think that's perfect.
I think it keeps people wanting to watch.
Yeah. I'd still prefer an hour. An hour on a network would. And I've said it.
Even half an hour would have been okay.
Even half an hour, yeah. It's what the network's made for.
After Matt made, I completely. It's the vessel that we wanted to have things on.
Yeah.
I hope you're impressed by me.
Yeah, very impressed.
That's good.
And Matt has obviously teased going from W to PR. From woken to broken.
Well, which is after this announcement that Matt made at the Hardy compound that this will be the location of Ultimate Deletion, and then a little thing, Bray Wyatt, and he's a liar, man. Yeah, okay, Bray, you tell everybody that everyone's a liar, so good times. Bray will say he'll show up and he'll be there. Who knows? Maybe we could see another appearance from the what is now known as the Bludgeon Brothers. Maybe the Wyatt family. Maybe Braun Strowman will show up next week as the Wyatt family incarnation. Again, possibilities are endless. We see an absolutely hilarious segment with.
Could Bray Wyatt come back as IRS?
His dad,
just in a suit.
Oh my goodness.
A white yeah. Anyway,
with a briefcase.
Yeah. Just randomly.
I've come to get your taxes, Hardy boys. endless possibilities. He's a sister, right? She could be a fantastically funny quick segment after this was Kurt Angle going, what the hell is going, watching the television, turns to Sean Bennett, who's one of the referees, used to be NXT senior official, and goes, Sean, these two are Monday Night Raw competitors. You're a Monday Night Raw referee. You need to go to the Hardy compound next week and make sure these two come back in one piece. And he's like, well, Kurt, have I done anything wrong? Am I being punished?
Yeah, massive pop.
For a referee to be given a line and not only to nail it, but give it...
and be given a name as well.
Yeah.
Referees don't really tend to be given names.
Name. Yeah. I should know. Strapey Zebra Man. Yeah, and not only did he say the line, but he did it with a bit of sort of like swag and some attitude and some charisma. I like a little bit of this.
Yeah,
I think Rudy Charles had a little bit to do on SmackDown a few months ago, and I think Mike Chio's had a few lines in the last sort of few months. I don't mind it.
It's a little weak for referees because on SmackDown, wasn't it? The referee quickly jumped out of the ring when the Bludgeon Brothers came in. When
as well. Poor Jimmy and Big E, they held their ground in the ring, and I think was it that I forget his name, this mega tanned one. He can do two hands left and right. Who used to be in NXT, he's now on SmackDown. Mate, he didn't jump out of the ring. He was like Kalisto. He bounced out of that ring like a trampoline. Great line. Yeah, so Sean Bennett will be going to the Hardy compound next week. I think this would be hilarious. This match will be funny. It will be brilliantly done.
It'll be weird.
It'll be weird.
People will complain about it. People will love it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't get me wrong. This will be 100 times better than the match that was between Bray and Randy Orton last year, just after WrestleMania, after the brand split. The last thing we're going to talk about very briefly is the Intercontinental Championship scenario. We had Miz TV. Miz had Seth and Finn on. Of course, he tried to goad them into a match. It worked. But during the point where they were having a little bit of war of words with each other, Miz sort of slowly backed up into the end of the to the side of the ring, and you can see him like a Cheshire cat, the cat that got the cream, the kid on Christmas morning who got that PS4. He was loving them arguing until they realised and beat him up.
Yeah. I think this is quite a predictable segment. When at least it wasn't another Mizzy's show. Jesus, could very well have been
garbage.
The 5th annual Mizzy's or whatever it was.
5th annual Mizzy's of the year.
Of the year, yeah. But yeah, look, like I said before, I hope this stays as a triple threat.
Really good match. Yeah. Really good match between Seth and Finn that followed. The finish, I mean, we're now pretty accustomed to either a normal suplex into the Falcon Arrow or a superplex by Seth on Finn to go into a Falcon Arrow, suplex Falcon Arrow. When he picks him up to go into the Falcon Arrow after the suplex, Finn inside cradle, 1, 2, 3. A surprise victory. Are you happy with the no sell?
I'm not a big fan of it. I hate it when Roman does it. When Roman takes a big move and then suddenly does a Superman punch after. I'm not a big fan of it. I can let this one go a little bit more because I think as the Falcon Arrow's going in, Finn has to try and look to reverse it, and he did. So I get it. He's rolling up into a pin. So I can buy it a little bit more. I still don't like it. I don't like the no sell. So the special people, there should be like no sell, like Hogan's, and
no.
Like that.
So on the Kieran Smith no sell predomina, whatever it's bloody called, it's just possible.
Yeah, it's like Sting taking a chop from Ric Flair and then standing there beating his chest after. That's fine.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cena.
Yeah, doing taking a big move and then coming up with another move after, completely no-selling it, and then both being down on the floor. I don't like it. Roman's one of the biggest ones. Cena used to do it, not so much now. But Roman does it quite a lot in his matches, and I don't so much like it. No. But like I say, I can pass this one off a little bit more than I can.
It passes, and I hope Wrestlemania passed for you guys this week. Thank you very, very much for listening. I have been your Chief of Wrestling, Craig Anderson. Thank you very much, the Director of Creativity, Kieran Smith. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Craig.
And thank you guys very much for listening. We will now be putting the show on iTunes.
Yep.
That is correct? Is that confirmed?
That is confirmed.
100%?
You'll be able to find us on iTunes, yes.
Wow. Search us on iTunes, Dirt Sheet Mania Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
Is that the full title?
Yeah, that's it. But if you search Dirt Sheet Mania, it will show up. It'll be available on other platforms. Looking to get it on Spotify.
Still put on SoundCloud?
Yeah, we'll still have it on SoundCloud.
Still have it on
SoundCloud. We'll get the website updated as well, so we can get people to look. This is a part-time thing, right?
We're both busy boys. Yeah,
we've got our own things to do in life. We've got to work, and we both work hard. But we're 7 episodes in. We're enjoying it.
We are. I know. I mean, the first thing is we do enjoy it. And for the guys that do listen to this, thank you for listening. We do appreciate it. Please spread the word. That's all we need now. Yeah. People to spread the word and to hopefully think we're decent. So I'm the Chief of Wrestling from now on. He's been the Director.
As always.
And thank you guys very much for watching. Of course, check out Twitter, check out Facebook and Instagram. We will see you next Wednesday as we roll along to WrestleMania and the ultimate deletion. Take care. Bye-bye.